Hello, everyone. So nice to have you all here. Welcome to the Rootical Pitch Day for our first cohort of food system shaking entrepreneurs. And this event is organized by Rootical Business Builder. Maybe those that don't know about Rootical, it's a startup studio that is working with Ugandan entrepreneurs to build and own their regenerative agri-food businesses. And it's a collaboration between our implementing partners, that is Shona, which is the leading implementing partner here in Uganda, and Fresh Ventures in the Netherlands. We would also like to thank our financial partners, without who we wouldn't really make this possible. And that is the French Embassy in Uganda, Dune Foundation, and BioVision. And it's really a great pleasure to have amidst us the ambassador of France to Uganda, who will be also giving us welcoming remarks in a few minutes. Over the past few months, we've moved from 750 plus applicants to 40 food system leadership participants in our bootcamp in August, that we had in August, and then moving to the venture building stage with 24 founders in residence. And today it's all coming together in 8 pitches. We have been working towards this moment for months, and we would like to share with you what we've been building for the past few months. Yeah, so it's very exciting to have you all joining us here in person and also online. And we would like to welcome you all. Maybe for purposes of introduction, my name is Omoit Elvis, and I'm the Startup Studio Officer at Rootical Business Builder, and I'll be your host for today. Thank you. Yeah, so I would like to maybe allow you to introduce yourself to your neighbor if you've not already done so. Let's get to know each other in the room, and also for those online, you can also introduce yourself in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. I think people know each other. No one is introducing themselves to the other. Come on, guys. Emma, do you know your neighbor? Oh, probably we should switch the seating arrangement so that you get to meet new people. Yeah, so it's very exciting to see you all joining us. Of course, both in person and virtually. And on behalf of the Rootical team, we would like to say thank you for taking this time to join us for this great moment, for us as a team, but also for our entrepreneurs. In the next 2 hours, we are going to hear from the teams what they have been building for the past few months. And we shall have 8 businesses pitching, each for 5 minutes. And we shall also have breakout room sessions where you can be able to share your feedback and also ask any questions if you have any. And after that, we shall have some bites and eats, and also get some opportunity to mingle for those that maybe don't know themselves. Yeah, so without any further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to invite our guest, His Excellency Javier Sticker, who is the ambassador of France in Uganda, who is going to share with us the official opening remarks for this event. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for the introduction. And here, Hannes van Hekoet, and I heard about your commitment and energy at the helm of Rootical business, and as the managing director. I'm impressed because I know that I'm also in front of the jury for today, alongside the members of the team at Rootical and the founders, who will be out of the 8 teams today, 3 at the end of this competition. So it's a tense moment. I'm aware of that, but let it be known at the same time that those who will not have a chance today to be among the 3 winners will still be able to have a sort of accompaniment in the fulfillment of their projects. This, well, the French embassy is very pleased and honored to partner with you under this project, which is dedicated to upgrading the skills and facilitating the employability in Uganda, which is crucial, of course, in this country, which is the 2nd youngest in the world, where I was almost overwhelmed recently to hear that the average age is 16 years old, while in my country, France, it's 41 years old, which makes it all the more crucial to provide opportunities for those among the youth every year who reach the job market. And we do that actually with a twist and with an emphasis on gender equality, being mindful that when we look at the figures for unemployment, if the employment rate for men is 8%, for women it's 11%. So opportunities to rebalance that are welcome and improve the access for women and women entrepreneurs and women employees on the job market. And the emphasis is also on agriculture. Well, my country happens to be the 8th largest producer in the world in the agricultural sector. At the same time, a country that moves away from the use of chemicals and pesticides in abundance and without care, to different practices, putting the emphasis on agroecology, and actually with the best possible use of what nature can provide and the services that it can provide. Another element of context, this project with you, and again proud to be partnering with you, is the sequel to one that was sponsored by the French embassy until earlier this year, dedicated to accompanying young entrepreneurs, starting from their individual or small businesses, so that they can expand. And we had partnered for that with the Stanbic Business Incubator. The project was called NISAT, and there is actually currently an association that is being developed for those who participated in that project, so that there is a legacy, and so that by the virtue of bringing the entrepreneurs together and comparing their experience, networking, staying as a group, it can still bring benefit and facilitate the development of the businesses. And this network will also be open to you as another opportunity. Let me highlight the fact that, well, the French partnerships in Uganda can come from the French embassy. They can come also from the French Development Agency, with the presence in the agricultural sector as well, and especially on finance. And the CIRAD, which is our national agency for cooperation and development in agronomy. So a number of opportunities, and we will continue, Mr. Van Eekhout, to share about that, so that this project not only can bear fruit, but that it can find its place in a series of initiatives for which there is a logic, a continuity, and in the long term, a momentum. For today, I will give way, but not without conveying my best wishes to those 8 teams that will be making their pitch. And in any case, well, of course, let's the best win. But we are at a time when France is heading towards the Olympic Games, and we are nevertheless mindful that what is important in any case is to participate and to stay the course, and what doesn't succeed today will, with effort, energy, fortitude, and resolve, be the success for the next time and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Javier Stika, for those welcoming remarks. And at this moment, I would like to invite the team that made this possible, and that's the Rootical team. Of course, the Rootical team is quite a small team. Come on, guys. Yeah, so we have Isaac Mohofa, who is our venture builder. We have Farida Nalunkuma, who is our talent manager, and also Hannes, who is our director, and also our leading partners, that is Shona. I see Joachim is present. You can also wave for us. Yes. And also Ivan is right here. And also Fresh Ventures Studio in the Netherlands. And also our financial partners, that is the Dune Foundation, the French Embassy in Uganda, and BioVision. So the Rootical team is going to tell us about why we're doing what we do and how we got here. And I'll pass it on to Farida.
Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Like Elvis shared, my name is Farida Nalunkuma. And, you know, a good place to start is definitely, why are we here? Why are we doing what we do? And so there is a growing concern about the triple planetary crisis that we face as a global community. So the first crisis is the land and environmental degradation that is obviously linked to climate change, but also to how we farm our lands. So for instance, 65% of agricultural land on the African continent is graded. The second crisis is the inequality in wealth. And so you have the way our companies, and in our case, the food companies, the way they are financed, managed, and owned, driving wealth to the very few. The last crisis, let's see if this is working. I'll talk through it. So the last crisis is malnutrition and hunger, which has been around for the last, we can't even count how many years, but it's not going down. So we have today worldwide 3 billion people not being able to afford a health diet. That includes 3/4 of Africans. So as Rootical, we are proposing a regenerative business builder. And so the 3 key pillars that we are tackling, one is regenerative agriculture. And so we see this and agroecology as the best paradigms for the way forward and for the future of our food systems. The second pillar that is really, for me, more even close to home is purpose-driven entrepreneurship. So we are building commercially viable, scalable, and impactful businesses that are going to cater for all. So as we look at some of these businesses, we're seeing that it's not just to cater to certain markets, but rather how do we get healthy food affordable and also available to as many people as possible. And lastly is we are envisioning an alternative ownership model, which is called steward ownership. I'll let Isaac take us through our theory of change.
Thanks, Farida. Good evening, everyone. Yes, we believe in shaking the food system of Uganda. And our journey looks at farmers transitioning to agroecology. And through our businesses, we believe we can be able to achieve this if we enable Ugandans, entrepreneurs that are purpose-driven, to build and own their businesses that provide solutions for farmers. Looking at organic inputs, if we look at our farmers, most of them would love to transition, but the access to organic inputs is limited. We have businesses that are looking at that solution. Advanced crop payments to farmers. They have this one key thing that farmers do earn seasonally, but they spend on a daily basis. So how do we create businesses that shake the system and ensure that farmers can be supported? Also looking at seed, which is a key thing. Seed businesses have been linked to chemical companies in the global trend, ignoring our indigenous seed. And we have businesses that are focusing on how do we ensure that indigenous seed is available to our smallholder farmers. Shelf life extension services. These are all some of the solutions that we are looking at on the side of enabling farmers transition to agroecology directly at the grassroots. Now, on the other side of the market, which is also a big issue when farmers produce, where does their produce go? Now, we have businesses that are shaking the system at also that point. Looking at regenerative food brands, some of them will be sharing this evening, and we'll be listening to them. How do we shake the value chain and ensure that in the marketplace, if you go to the nearby shop, you can be able to buy regenerative or agroecological products? Then when we look at our journey with founders, we started with 10 days bootcamp after selecting out of over 700 entrepreneurs. We had 40 that were with us for 10 days. We mapped the Uganda food system, and we looked at those key points, leverage points, where businesses can intervene and cause tremendous transformation. And actually, we have already a blueprint, which if any other person, any other purpose-driven entrepreneur outside Rootical can use to also build a business. So Rootical is not only working with the businesses or the founders you see in this room, but also we are looking at people outside this room. How can they utilize the resources that Rootical is establishing to ensure that we build the food system of Uganda together? So from those 10 days, we had 40 participants, and then we selected 24. Now we have 16 out of those 24 here with 8 teams. And during that time, we were looking at testing prototypes using human-centered design, moving closer to minimum viable products. And we will be hearing a lot about that for what we have been doing in the 3 months, going out to speak to our direct customers, the ones that we are targeting. If it is organic inputs, it is the farmers in those communities that are using them, and the businesses have been speaking to these farmers. Then from there, this is one of the engagements that's going to lead us to the entry into the studio. And during that time, we are going to look at, we are going to select 6 businesses out of the 8, and we are going to support them with up to 40 million, and also support them to ensure that they do have continuous support each week throughout the next year as they are building their businesses. And also we will support them to incorporate their businesses. And also Rootical will be part of the co-founders of these businesses. And one of the things that we believe is that Ugandans should own the businesses that they found. So we are not going to have any decision rights in these businesses. Then from there, we believe that this journey should take us to where we have been talking about regenerative agriculture, agroecology, but how do we use it to transition our food system? These are the businesses coming. We are building the pipeline. I will welcome our leader, Hannes, to take us through the next.
Thanks, Isaac. First of all, I'm really excited to be here today with all of you. We've come a long way, and at the same time, this is just the beginning, right? Rootical is all about leveraging regenerative investments. And I love these quotes of climate farmers stating that regenerative investments increase the life-holding capacity of a system and its ability to live up to its purpose. And that's what we're all about. First of all, we need to think of systems investing. If we want to solve our way out of the poly-crisis we're living as entrepreneurs, we need to be entrepreneurs. We need to build businesses with that systems lens. Second, we have to think of place-based investing. Rootical and Fresh Ventures and Shona, we think that the startup studio model is one of the best models to leverage and de-risk funding into food systems transformation. In other words, it's a good way to activate and deploy funding to enable Ugandan entrepreneurs to build the best possible solutions to the problems in the Ugandan food system they see most fit. And then finally, Isaac already mentioned it, we're all about Ugandan ownership. We are working with Shona to make sure that Rootical over time becomes fully owned and managed by the employees and the founders that come out of our cohorts. This is really important for us. So the big dream for Rootical is to build a network of regenerative agriculture and food startups. We noticed that in the business development ecosystem in Uganda and also elsewhere probably, a lot of the programs are light touch, short term, and don't provide access to finance. they also usually don't have any skin in the game regarding the results of the businesses they're training and supporting. So Rootical is deliberate on being a long-term, hands-on, tailored business support facility, a startup studio, as we call it, providing access to finance, bringing more innovation into the agroecological space and ecosystem, and also we're deliberate and intentional on being an ecosystem builder. We are working closely together with AFSA, Pelleting Uganda, Nogamu, the organic and agroecological players and networks in Uganda and beyond. So, as I said, what we think is key is to build the funding, infrastructure, and necessary pipeline to have more agroecological entrepreneurs emerge. That's what we're all about. And we see 4 levels of engagement that we would love to work on with all of you, and especially with our financial partners. First of all, we need to get more seed funding into the businesses that will be pitching today and the ones coming after them. Second, we are actively looking for and already in conversations to be able to replicate our startup studio model in Uganda, a second cohort, and also starting up new countries in East Africa and beyond. We really think that's critical to strengthen the agroecology movement in each country and in the region and beyond, step by step, cohort by cohort, infusing new enterprises into that agroecology movement. And then third, as I said before, we want to build that funding infrastructure. We have some interesting experiments and thoughts on their way. We're trying to get them funding at the moment. For instance, what could we do with an Ashoka kind of fellowship stipends for entrepreneurs while building their businesses? Can we bring together a grant pool of investing money into agroecological businesses coming out of Rootical, but also emerging from programs like Nature Accelerator of our partner Shona and others, right? And then also we would love to establish a kind of revolving loan fund for impact investing in agroecological entrepreneurs in Uganda and beyond. And then finally, we have to do some work on the knowledge level too. We are looking how to better connect our building plans, our food system analysis work with the knowledge, the academic knowledge that's out there, but also the practitioners and what they are doing in the field, the innovations they are developing. How can we better support those innovations to emerge and to turn into successful and thriving businesses? That's a key question for us. On the other hand, we also need to build knowledge and evidence about the impact we are having as startup studios in building those agroecological enterprises and how they can impact the wider ecosystem and movement for more agroecology in the face of this polycrisis, as Farida mentioned at the beginning. So we think that is the work that has to be done, and this is the contribution Rootical can be making. Really happy to have you here, and looking forward to work more closely together in the future. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tim. Another round of applause for the Rootical team. All right. Yeah, we are going to head into what brought us here today. And let me take this opportunity to introduce our jury for today. We have Stephen Max Opoya from Palladium. I expect a round of applause. Come on, guys. Joelo Bamwise, formerly from SBIL. Jonathan Ntege Lubwama from Benue Capital and CEO East Africa Magazine. Josephine Akia from Pelham, Uganda. And Ivan Mandela from Shona Capital. Yeah, that's our jury for today. We strive to really make sure that we have a gender balance on our panel, but 2 of our female jury members didn't manage to make up because of other engagements. But we shall trust this jury that we have today with the role. So Rootical is all about building regenerative agri-food businesses that are designed to transform the food system. And we are going to look at 3 elements for today's speeches. That is commercial viability, scalability, and potential for impact as the main aspects. So the jury will be looking at that for today. In addition, we also want the people that are online to provide us with their feedback and also share their views on the different pitches that will be made. And this is especially appreciated if you're an investor or a fund manager. And as a studio, we are really keen to using this feedback to be able to have it as part of our validation process. And I'll ask you to simply scan the QR code that is on the screen. And also for those online, you can use the link that has been shared in the chat for that. I'll give you a minute to scan the QR code if you want to. We had some QR codes around. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, just scan that. So we will have 8 pitches today, and each pitch will last 5 minutes. So I'll ask our founders to really keep time. I'm going to be very strict on that. Yeah, so without wasting any more time, I'm going to invite our first business on stage. That is SoilTrit, that is turning organic waste into fertilizer. Welcome, Joshua. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. So before I pitch, I just wanted to take this privilege to thank Rootical for the work well done. Give them a round of applause. We are the better versions of ourselves for this 4 months period. It's really been interesting. You know, in Uganda, whenever we see a business opportunity, we just rush into thinking we want to make money and, you know, bring out solutions, but sometimes they're not the right solutions that the people need. But through this systemic venture building process, we've really been able to learn a lot, and we are hoping we are going to shake the food system in Uganda. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so my name is Moya Joshua, co-founder SoilTrit, where we do organic waste value addition. So about 2/3 of the mid-sized farmers in Uganda face a challenge of organic waste accumulation because of inefficient organic waste management. And sometimes this waste accumulates to a tune that it becomes a nuisance, that they are forced to legally dump it within the surrounding communities, and they tend to cause environmental issues and environmental pollution. But then the very mid-sized farmers have a segment of smallholder farmers who buy this waste from them either in raw form or in compost form. But then they are able to only buy a little because of the challenges associated with using large volumes of this organic waste. And also, sometimes when they buy it and take it to their gardens and they apply it, sometimes they're not convenient. I know some of you have interacted with raw organic waste. And so the odors they cause in the society sometimes are not good. So as SoilTrit, we are coming in with a mobile pelleting service that is going to help the mid-sized farmers to do on-farm pelleting, to turn the compost into convenient compost pellets that are easier to use, storable, application with precision, and transportable. And this will enable the mid-sized farmers to efficiently manage their organic waste while earning an extra income. And this will enable also the small smallholder farmers to transport larger volumes so they can be able to improve their soil health and then hence increase their crop yields. And so how are we going to make the money? So this is how our business model is going to look like. We'll be able to charge a service fee of about $237 US for every 3 tons. And then we'll also be able to make some extra money by selling 20% of the excess pellets from the mid-sized farmers. And then we'll also be able to offer virtual assistance in the sense that when a farmer approaches us, we're able to give them virtual guidance on how to produce compost that is pelletable. And then my team comprises of 2. I, Joshua Moya, I have a background in computer science, and I also have over 6 years experience in pellet making or pellet production. So I'm going to leverage on the experience that I have to produce the best quality compost pellets. And then I have an advisor, Mr. Albert Kakande, who is an agroecologist and also an organic agriculture expert with over 10 years experience in producing these compost pellets. So he's going to bring his expertise in terms of composting. So we're able to standardize the composting processes. So we're able to produce standard compost pellets that will have the right nutrients that are needed to feed the depreciated soils in Uganda. So we have been able to have a number of milestones. We were able to engage with 5 mid-sized farmers and about 15 to 20 smallholder farmers. And this helped us to understand their willingness to adopt compost pellets. And we're here to pitch because we need an initial seed funding of about $10,000 US, where 50% of this money will go to acquire machinery, 35% will go to the logistics and operations of the company, and then the rest will be towards the product refinement so that we get the right product on the market. We believe when this money is injected, we'll be able to have our vision impacting about 20 mid-sized farmers in the first year, where they'll be able to add value to their compost and then earn an extra money, but then manage their organic waste efficiently. And then we'll be able to generate revenues of $7,000 US by the end of the first year. And then we'll also be able to help about 400 smallholder farmers to transition to agroecology, because we want them to leave the conventional inputs and use organic fertilizer. And we'll be able to help them increase their yield because they'll be treating their soils rightly and hence increasing their agricultural productivity. So as SoilTrit, we are here to restore value to organic waste and increase agricultural productivity. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joshua. You can take your seat. Yeah, that is our first business. Let me take this opportunity to invite on stage our next business. That is Eden Seeds, that is looking at providing indigenous seeds to smallholder farmers and creating a farmer-owned seed brand. Take it on.
Hello, everyone. Remember, Emmanuel is my name from Eden Seeds. Did you know that over 85% of smallholder farmers in rural communities struggle to access quality seed? This is not just a number. This is a problem that is facing so many farmers out there. And we find ourselves, we are losing billions in household incomes. As extension workers, we experience this problem firsthand. In the photo there is Merab, one of our smallholder farmers in Kumi district. Just last season, she was not able to access quality maize seed. And that resulted in 2 harvest losses of 940 kgs, translating to close to $400. This problem is not for Melabo alone. It's for millions of smallholder farmers. And this is well cited in the ISSD report of 2020. We are here not to highlight the problem. With us, we come with a solution, and that is Eden Seeds. Eden Seeds is not just a seed company. Eden Seeds is a solution. We are a movement that is facing the challenge of inadequate access to quality seed. Eden Seeds is a decentralized farmer-owned seed brand that is partnering with already established community seed banks to guarantee a consistent and top quality indigenous seeds. Why indigenous seeds? These are seeds that are of top quality. They are resilient to climate change. They are high yielding, and most especially, they are tough against pests and diseases. Eden Seeds also works with farmer cooperatives to distribute seed. How does it work? We go to a cooperative, we aggregate orders, and then do bulk movement of these seeds. In that way, we cut costs, and you find that Eden Seeds is not only of the highest quality, it's affordable and well adapted to the local conditions.
Okay, so our team comprises of Emmanuel, who is an agronomist with over 5 years of experience working very closely with smallholder farmers in Uganda, and myself with over 8 years of on-ground experience working closely with smallholder farmers and building the capacity of farmer groups and also building cooperatives from scratch. So to achieve our goal, we can't do this alone. So we have initiated collaborations with already existing agroecology champions like Oxfam and Pelham Uganda, who already have established community seed banks in Uganda, and they are willing to connect us to these seed banks so that we can have consistent supply of this seed throughout the year. However, we're also looking at other collaborations with other potential partners like ESAF, who are also into agroecology. And to ensure traceability of this seed, we're also working closely with NARO, that is to an umbrella of National Seed Bank, so that we can have this seed traced from the source to the community seed banks. Rootical is always there to provide us with the technical support so that we are always on track and able to achieve our goal. So where have you reached so far? Over the last 3 months, we have been engaging 300 farmers from different parts of the country, and so that we assess the urgency of the matter and their willingness to adapt our transition to agroecology. And in this regard, we're able to get some orders from 2 cooperatives who are already on board, and they have already ordered 2 tons of seed, which we are going to be giving out, selling in January next year. We are also confirmed engagement with the community seed banks, that is 8 of them, who are already willing to supply us with the seed. So with Mayif, we have engaged with them because they are regulators of agro inputs in the country. So we want to be on track with them. So we are here asking for $12,000 so that we are able to transition 500 smallholder farmers to agroecology, and also be able to provide at least 100 jobs for women and youth in our first year of operation. And we can also guarantee food security in the region. However, on terms of economics, we are looking at our initial revenue of $6,000 in our first year of operation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just the time for us to talk about climate change. I urge you to put funds more into actions that fight climate change rather than events like workshops and conferences. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Team Edensits. Yeah, that was quite powerful. Another round of applause for Team Edensits. Yeah, so our next business on stage is Team EcoLogic, that is empowering smallholder farmers to have access to organic, locally sourced inputs. Take it over.
Hello, everyone. It's Innocent and Brian. So some weeks back, we had the chance to go to the village, talk to these farmers, inquire what they really need. So we met these farmers, Mr. and Mrs. Okech from Ajulu in Gulu district. So some years back, they were among the largest producers of white beans in Gulu district. In fact, they were supplying most of the agro-produce sellers. But as of today, this year they managed to produce only 1 bag of white beans from 1 acre. So as EcoLogic, we sat down, we're like, how can we help these farmers out? How can we reverse this number? How can we make sure the 18% of smallholder farmers in Uganda having access to organic inputs is tripled or even quadrupled? So our solution is as this. We source organic inputs from local producers like VermiPro, Glowish Agro Solutions, and then we distribute them to some of the smallholder farmers in their respective villages via a network of farmer agents. We work on the premise that farmers know themselves best. Why don't we empower them to empower each other? So this is how our model works. These agents are empowered to market to each other in the respective villages. We assume that in every village, the needs are different. People in Kapchorwa need different kind of farm inputs. Those in Gulu have different needs as well. They also aggregate the orders from these farmers, and then they convey the message to us as EcoLogic. We then go on to send them these inputs. They also provide last mile delivery. They make sure these inputs reach the doors of the farmers and also help them in training them on how to use these inputs. So as we know, some of these organic inputs are very difficult to use for someone who is new in the field of organic farming. So our team comprises of Brian Kiprotich and me, Innocent. So I have a background in industrial engineering. For the last 4 years, I've been doing humanitarian work with UNDP and UN volunteers in remote areas of South Sudan and Somalia. As for Brian here, he's an experienced agricultural extension worker. He has been giving out loans via Postbank and Centenary Bank for the last 6 years. And he's also currently doing agricultural insurance with Polar. We also have our expert advisors, Rootical, who have been helping us for the last 4 months, and they have changed our lives a lot. Imagine industrial engineers and agricultural extension workers now working so hard to provide farm inputs to some of the smallholder farmers. We also have Dr. Nibikora Ildefons, who has a bachelor's degree in agronomy. He's a deputy dean of Zetema University. He has been helping us during this period as well. So as of today, we have piloted 5 farmers. We thought of how are we going to make sure we know what will happen in real life? What if we buy some of these inputs from these local producers like VermiPro, and then we test out how the logistics will work? So we supplied 3 farmers in Eastern Uganda and 2 farmers in Northern Uganda. We also went on to sign up 50 farmers. As of this morning, one of our latest customers was Joshua Moya here, who bought some of the prototypes we wanted to bring here. So he's intending to be one of our agents as well in Bali. So far we have been using one supplier by the names of VermiPro. They have been very helpful. They have a team of agronomists. They're willing to help us out where needed always. And then there are 7 we are willing to onboard when the business starts running. So we're asking for only $8,000, where the 80% will go into sourcing these organic inputs from these suppliers. And then the 10% will go to farm acquisitions. For now, we'll have to go on the ground. We have to talk to these farmers, acquire their needs, and keep on going back to them. As we supply, we have to make sure we keep on getting feedback. Are their needs changing? What else do they need after us giving them biofertilizers? So, and then we'll use the 10% for onboarding agents. Who are the main guys in our model? For our model to work well, we have to make sure these agents are well armed. They know everything about the crops grown in that area, how to use these inputs. So 10% of the money will have to go into that. We believe that with this money given to us, we'll be serving 360 farmers in the first year. That's on occasion that we are doing as little work as recruiting one person per day, talking to one farmer, convincing them that, please, why don't you transition to agroecology? But if you put in more and you do more work, we assume that we can even quadruple this number. And then with this number of farmers, we assume that if a farmer in a year can spend as little as $100, we'll be making 36,000 in revenue by end of 2024. We're also trying to phase out chemical fertilizers from the market. We assume that by the end of the 2024, if these farmers on board with us, we'll be phasing out about 70 tons of chemicals from the market. Please, we are looking for visionaries, hardworking people who are willing to join hands with us, apart from the money. If you are in this team, you're in this group, and you're willing to work with us to push this agenda forward, let's bring back life to Ugandan soil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team EcoLogic. Our next business on stage is the Garden Fresh team. They are working on providing natural shelf life extension solutions for smallholder farmers and market vendors. Annette and Rosalind, take us away.
Thank you for introducing us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, how might we reduce food safety and health concerns in our food system, especially fruits and vegetables, agriculture sector? So we are Garden Fresh, and we are looking at mancozeb. Mancozeb is a chemical fungicide that is slowly killing us. This is a chemical that is used by farmers to prevent fungal diseases in fruits and vegetables, this value chain of the horticulture. And it's a chemical that is also being used by farmers, actually being misused by farmers as a post-harvest disease control chemical. So the past 3 months, we have been interacting with the farmers all over Uganda, and we have been asking them and looking at what they are using in their gardens to prevent the fungal diseases, and also what they are using to prolong the shelf life of these fruits and vegetables. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a consumer of fruits and vegetables and you're not growing them yourself, you have actually consumed this chemical. Because 80% of the smallholder farmers are actually using this chemical. Some of you have gone to the markets and you see the white coating on the tomatoes, on the green pepper, on the cucumber, on the watermelon. This is the chemical that we are talking about. And this is the chemical that is slowly killing us. According to a report of the National Health Institute in Uganda, 27% of the deaths in Uganda are due to non-communicable diseases. These are diseases like cancer, and 1 out of the 33 births is a child that has been born with a defect. And these defects are actually because of what we are consuming. So that's why we are calling it a slow killer. And you are among the 90% if you have consumed a vegetable without knowing its source, how it has been grown, that has consumed mancozeb. So you might be a victim. So what are we doing? We are Garden Fresh, and we are providing a solution that farmers can use as a pest control solution, a natural fungicide, a beneficial fungicide that can be used just before the harvest and even after harvest to prolong the shelf life of these fruits and vegetables naturally. So this solution can actually keep your fruits and vegetables 21 days longer without harming you, without harming the environment, without polluting the environment, without polluting the water which your livestock is consuming, and keeping you healthy so that you're not worried of the diseases, of the non-communicable diseases that might affect you or affect your loved ones. So what do we have in our solution? We have a solution that can reduce on the ripening of the fruits and vegetables. Not stop it, but slow it down so that the fruits stay longer naturally. And these solutions are also able to help control the pests, the post-harvest diseases that normally affect these crops, especially in the market, because the market vendors are actually using mancozeb to prolong the shelf life of these fruits because they want them to be sold to you. So we are providing a solution for them to keep these, to prolong the fruits and vegetables longer, and so that they can be able to be marketable for a longer period of time. Thank you so much. Rosalind will take you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our team is composed of 3 members, led by our CEO, Annette Diana, an agricultural engineer with 10 years experience in post-harvest handling of fruits and vegetables. Okello John, our product development specialist, a biotechnologist, and a research fellow with over 12 years of experience in development and production of organic pesticides. And Ilemiat Rosalind, a logistics and procurement professional with over 8 years working with farmers. In the past 3 months, we have been able to interact with farmers. We have interacted with 120 farmers, 7 farmer groups, 40 market vendors, and 32 agro input dealers, of which 11 of these agro input dealers have signed to purchase 50 units of our product once availed. We are asking for $15,000 USD to have this venture successful. 50% of these will go towards to the product development, verification, and certification of the product. 30% will go to the marketing and sales activities. 20% will help in the operational activities. Our impact, if we got this money, we shall be able to generate $10,560 USD in our first year, and we shall be able to transition 6,600 farmers away from using the harmful chemicals, and then we shall be able to get rid of 6 tons and 600 kilograms of the harmful chemicals in our markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Annette and Rosalind. Our next business on stage is GreenRays, which is providing solar drying services to smallholder farmers and addressing aflatoxin toxicity. Welcome, Edith. Take us away.
Thank you, Elvis. Hi, good evening. My name is Edith, and I'm here to share a solution of how we may reduce farm gate loss for smallholder farmers. And that is providing solar drying solutions as a service to the smallholder farmers last mile. I would like you to meet Zuri, the farmer here and her household. On a typical sunny day like this one, during a month like this when she has harvested her grain, She and her children put out trampoline in their compound and spread out their grain. You can see there is chicken, there is dust. They step in it as they gather it to take it in the house, and it gets contaminated by aflatoxins. According to FAO, about 25% of the grain we are producing globally is contaminated by aflatoxins, or the level is too high to what a human being should consume. And this is as a result of the moisture content. Zuri here does not have the knowledge about what moisture content is needed for the grain she's producing, despite the fact that she actually wants to practice agroecology. Because of the sun drying and the poor storage, she buys sacks at the beginning of every harvest season where she keeps her grain. It's infested by pests and diseases, rodents, as she takes it in and out for about 6 days to dry thoroughly. What are some of the effects of aflatoxins? It suppresses immunity. The more you consume it, the more your immunity goes down. It has been known to accelerate malnutrition and stunted growth in children. And the most known effect is acute liver injury, accelerating into liver cancer. In fact, according to FAO, about 780,000 new cases of liver cancer happening globally are 40% due to aflatoxin contamination. And what is even more surprising or saddening is that 85% of this is happening in the least developing countries, which is Uganda. And to make matters worse, while FAO says 25%, in Uganda, it's about 55% aflatoxin contamination. Therefore, farmers are losing their food at the farm gate. No one is buying it, and they are losing income. What is our proposed solution? We want to provide mobile solar drying services. In the picture here, we were doing a demo. This is a portable solar dryer that can be mounted onto a motorcycle or a tricycle and taken to the smallholder farmer's household. It can cover totally, and so there will be no chicken or dust or stepping into the grain as it is drying. Right here, we were done drying it, and we were packing it back into a pig's bag, which cuts off disease infestation, rodents, and every other post-harvest storage challenges that farmers may face. It dries 6 times faster than normal drying. It takes about 3 to 6 hours on a normal sunny day like this to dry about 2.5 tons of grain. While with open sun drying, a farmer has to take out their grain for about 6 days. And they can't dry if it's raining. It is safe. It ensures food quality. There is no stepping in the grain. While it's stored, no rodents, no pests, it is in the natural form of the moisture content that has been left. And definitely secure storage. Meet our team, the people that are proposing this solution for the smallholder farmers. Agatha here is the people person. She's out and about making sure we have the partnerships and the resources we need to run this social enterprise. While I am the strategist with over 10 years project management and working with smallholder farmers, I'm also a social entrepreneur, already running a company that gives smallholder farmers credit to run their enterprises. So together we have a combined 15+ years of working with smallholder farmers. To date, or over the past couple of months, we have been able to do the pilot, as you can see, for the farmers, and we have had 485 farmers who have signed up to receive our services in this current season. So our ask is that with $7,000, we'll be able to buy a set of equipment. Our set of equipment is basically a solar dryer and a moisture meter. We make sure we dry the grain and we leave the right moisture content as the farmers wait for an off-taker. And with this, we will serve all these 485 individual farmers, as well as 5 VSLA groups. We know for sure that when we have this, by the end of year 1, which is 2024, we'll be able to dry about 5,000 tons of grain in the harvest season, which is 2 seasons, and about 50 tons of produce beyond grain in the off season. We know that when we have this done, at the end of the year, we will raise about $31,000 in revenue. So I am here to ask you all to come with us on this journey of making sure that the food farmers are producing is safe and quality, and that we will have health outcomes for everyone that is consuming food. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edith. I think she deserves another round of applause. Yeah, that was Team GreenRays for you. Now, next on stage is Team AgroBulking, that is working on a cash advance payment solution for smallholder farmers. That is Jimmy, Irene, Orisa, and Wako. All right, here you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're most welcome to Reinventing Bulking Models, to his aggregation for processors. I am here as Irene with Jimmy, and we are Team AgroBulking Solutions Limited. Yeah, so we're working on grains and pulses, and this a group of highly traded commodities in Uganda. And currently the market stands at about 4.7 billion, and it's increasing by about 4%. However, majority of the participants in this market are smallholder farmers who make up 85% of the farming communities in Uganda. They are characterized by subsistence production and low input production, and they end up producing low volumes of commodities that are unable to meet the processing capacity of processors in the country. Tonight, I present to you Claire, who is a smallholder farmer in northern Uganda. Claire's biggest challenge is limited access to financing. She has got 5 children, and she cannot access the inputs she needs for her production processes. She cannot adopt the climate change adaptation strategies because she has limited access to financing. Claire goes as far as selling her produce from the garden because she has to farm seasonally, she has to hunt seasonally, but she spends daily. So she has to actually struggle with access to financing to be able to meet her daily needs, but also her production needs. So she sells off her produce from the garden, and she's able to earn only less than $1 for one of the commodities that she produces. And because of this, she's not able to meet the processing needs of the processors in terms of the raw materials. And because of these, processors face high costs in sourcing for raw materials from far off places. Besides that, they are actually not able to get agroecological products that they can produce for consumers who care about agroecology. But tonight we are here to present to you a solution. Through AgroBulking, we are able to offer the crop advance payment model to smallholder farmers. So we offer crop advances to farmers during their production processes to facilitate these processes. So as they get this, they're able to adapt the climate change adaptation strategies, they're able to take up agroecology, they're able to finance their day-to-day financial needs. And as they do this, processors on one hand are able to get the the produce that they need at the required volumes, and they're able to increase their processing capacity. So Claire as she interacts with the crop advancement payment solution, we further link them to processors directly, eliminating the middlemen in the market and shortening the value chain. So Claire is able to get over 70% additional income per unit of the commodity that she sells. On the other hand, processors are able to lower their processing costs by 20% because they don't have to pay several middlemen in between to be able to get the sourcing they need. And in the end, farmers who have actually adopted these adaptation strategies for climate change and who have transitioned to agroecology become more climate resilient. So Jimmy, how do we do this?
All right, thank you. What we do, we utilize the already established ecosystem of the VSLAs to help us de-risk. The crop advances we give to the farmers is not alone. So de-risking is one of our key factors that we use the VSLAs to do that. To aggregate from the farmers, we use the commercial agent models. With every VCLA, we get an agent there and commercialize them so they will be able to do the aggregation for us. What we do is we operate a low margin, high volume business where our profit comes from controlling costs. Currently, we are operating at a gross margin of 20% with off-taking directly with processors and main rate and general wholesalers in the general markets. So the team is backed up with over 40 years of experience with Dr. Irene, the agribusiness expert, Raphael, myself, Jimmy, and Wako. And we have expert advice from Shona and Rootical. Over the last few weeks, we have been able to get 6 VSLA onboarded with over 240 farmers with aid from AXA. And with the market, we've actually generated over $300 in revenue and over 3,000 in pre-orders supported by AgroWays. Our ask is 20,000, where 74% of this will go into directly financing the farmers to be able to meet their day-to-day needs and the production need, 12 in operations, and the 14% will go to digitalizing our offline operations. So over this, we expect to transition not less than 500 farmers into agroecology and increase the processing capacity by 30% for the farmers, for the processors.
So ladies and gentlemen, today we are inviting all of you in this room to join us in reinventing bulking models for regenerative food system and ensuring that the most marginalized get a fair share of what they've worked for in the food system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team AgroBulking. Indeed, I want a fair share when I grow my crops. I've been cheated for a very long time. Yeah. So our next business on stage is Native Harvests, that is providing indigenous, nutritious ingredients for food brands. Welcome, Miriam. Take us away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miriam Nachiaga, and the challenge I'm tackling today is how might we make healthy, nutritious foods more available to Ugandans? Well, starting with 80% staple foods in Uganda being deficient in essential nutrients, both naturally and those lost during processing, especially when it comes to our main staple you can find in every home, that is the maize flour that is consumed by most low-income families as well as middle-income families in Uganda. What does this mean? It means that when Ugandan households are not accessing healthy food, this has contributed to 29% of children below 5 years being stunted. What does this mean? It means it's going to affect their cognitive development. These children cannot thrive in school, and when they grow into adulthood, they cannot get decent jobs, and this has continuously contributed to the cycle of poverty. Aside stunting, this lack of access to healthy foods has made 1 in 5 women being anemic. Imagine in this room, 1 in 5 women are anemic because they cannot access iron in the food that they are consuming. So we are native harvests, and we believe in nourishing Ugandans indigenously. How are we going to do that? We believe that we have underutilized crops in Uganda, for example, the pigeon pea and the amaranth grain, that can be used to locally fortify our starchy staples in Uganda. Why indigenous foods? When we look at the profile of the pigeon pea right there, adding just 3 ratios of pigeon pea to 7 ratios of maize flour could be a game changer. Let's look at the protein content. In just 100 grams of pigeon pea, you could add up to 22 grams of protein, 65% of iron, and it's quite a potassium powerhouse with 30% of the recommended dietary allowance. And then when we look at the amaranth grain, with up to 14 grams of protein and 7.6 milligrams of iron, if added to the our major staples like the maize flour, that's about 58% of the recommended daily allowance. Apart from their nutrition profile, when we look at the pigeon pea, aside providing us the nutrition profile, it's a perennial crop. This means farmers can continue to harvest up to 5 years without having to replant. And that is the way we need to go if we need a regenerative food system. This means people can have supply or access to nutritious food, and they don't have to worry about issues of food insecurity. So this is what we need as we face the climate crisis. We need these to promote these resilient crops and incorporate these ingredients into our diet. So this was just to a representation of what we've been doing, but we are looking at the smallest unit being 50 kilograms, which is on the other side. And the team is comprised of myself. I'm a single founder for now. Of course, I can't do it alone. So what I bring to the team is my background in nutrition and food science. I understand the nutrition content of these quite underutilized indigenous crops, and I'll be able to identify and source out the most highly nutritious crops in this business. The progress so far, I've been able to prototype up to 24 indigenous ingredients, and I'm in the process of profiling up to 50 indigenous ingredients. I've also reached out to 20 farmers who are growing these crops, but unfortunately, brands are not reaching out to these farmers to source out these crops. So I'm bridging that gap by sourcing these ingredients from the farmers and through a B2B business, supplying them to these brands so that they can incorporate them into their products. And because of that, I've been able to reach out to 21 food brands that have shown interest in incorporating these ingredients in their products. I've been able to raise up to 800,000 in revenue from sales and orders of up to 2 million shillings. My funding ask is 31 million, which is about $8,000 US. And through that, with a profit margin of 34%, in the first year, we shall be able to make $31,000, of which the funding ask, 55% of it will go in operation, sourcing these ingredients. We need equipment to process and turn them to flours. And with that, we believe the impact will be in the first year, 15 food brands will be able to shift from using conventional ingredients to using regenerative, indigenous, highly nutritious ingredients. And we believe in the first year, we shall be able to source out from 2,000 farmers that are growing these crops. That is, you're helping them on their journey in agroecology, but you're also increasing their incomes. And we believe if these brands if these 15 brands on board, then up to 200,000 households will be able to access healthier meals in their homes. And so join me on this journey to provide regenerative diets to Ugandans.
Thanks very much, Miriam. Another big round of applause. Thank you. If you've been with us since the start of this event, we've been building a house for the last 4 months, 6 months actually. And we've started from the foundation, that is our soil, to the inputs, the bricks, and now to the food on your table, which is the roof. And our next business on stage is the last nail on the rooftop of transforming this the Ugandan food system. Okay, allow me invite on stage Team Flourish Food Pharmacy that is working on providing health, nutritious foods to mainstream Ugandans. Do you guys want to eat healthy? These are the guys. Welcome, Naomi, Maria, and Evas. Take us away.
Thank you, Elvis. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Naomi Mwebaza, and these are my colleagues, Evas and Maria. And today we are presenting a solution to making healthy and nutritious food more accessible to average Ugandans. And this is Flourish Food Pharmacy. So when I was younger, I had issues with adopting new foods, as well as having appetite for the foods that I was already used to. And because of this issue, my guardians always turned to force feeding or just giving me junk food, because it's better to eat something than to eat nothing. If you fast forward 20 plus years later, this is still an issue. There's a lot of people in this room even that are already facing that problem. 82% of Ugandans have limited access to safe and nutritious food. And because of this issue, 3 in 10 children below the age of 5, as Miriam mentioned, are stunted in their physical development as well as their mental development. And for this reason, my team and I, as much as it is a very jarring problem, we dove deep into it to try and find a solution. Evas, our CEO, has 9 years experience as a human nutritionist, and she has within that experience, she has developed several products. Then you have Maria, who is going to be our Chief of Operations. She has 10 years experience in agribusiness and farmer engagement. And then myself, Naomi, I have 6 years experience in marketing and community engagement. And together, we are going to create a system that allows us to provide Ugandans with healthy and fortified flours that are provided to them in a clean environment. So Flourish Food Pharmacy, our goal is to, next slide, please. Our goal is to have physical locations that are distributed all over the country that offer mix on the go as well as our premix. Mix on the go will allow Ugandans to mix the different flours depending on their family's needs. And then Us Delight, our premix, will have all the different ingredients that are needed for children to have the necessary, the recommended daily nutrition, as well as offering nutritional advice to families that will need it, because we have found from our research that everyone has a very different need. Children come in with their different preferences. They do not like monotony. So we are giving them an option to have different varieties of the same food, but with different ingredients that allows them to reach their nutritional goals.
In addition to having physical locations, we're going to have, we have already distribution partners that are allowing us to reach the very last person. Our current distribution partner is Haba na Haba. It's a food bank. We've already been able to, in addition to opening our first store, we've already been able to give them our flagship product, which is Earth Delight, so they can distribute on our behalf. And this was between August and November, what we've been able to do. But we're hoping that in January, we're able to register our company and have a full profile of our customers' needs, because from our location at the moment in Entebbe, we've been able to understand that our customers are looking for something that is very specific in terms of the flowers that are coming into their homes. So in January, we're hoping that we'll have some, I want to say some like usual flowers that people order or mixes that they make, so that we can add it to our product collection. And then in October, we are hoping to have another distribution partner so that we can reach more Ugandans. So from the work that we've done already, we've realized that we can have from each unit, we can have a profit margin of about 3,000 shillings. And we are hoping to reduce that even further through partnerships with some of our colleagues. And through our ask of $15,000, we'll be able to have those relationships cemented in terms of using 50% of that ask to source the ingredients that we need, and then 40% to have other people join with us in providing the solution to as many Ugandans as possible. And then 10% will be used towards operations. We're hoping that within the first year, we'll have impacted 600 or more households, and we will have created 20 or more jobs within women and with youth. And we're hoping to see that within the first 7 months. It is a very big problem that we are trying to solve, but we have the resolve and we have the work ethic and we have the right network to be able to make sure that families or parents are able to build the culture of healthy eating with their children. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause for Tim Flourish Food Pharmacy. All right. And with that, we can now go home. Well, we are now going to move into our breakout sessions for us to learn more about each team and solution. And if you have any questions or any feedback that you want to share with the teams. And this is how we are going to have the breakout rooms. All right, thanks everyone for your feedback. And thank you, our founders, for sharing with us your solutions today. And for those online, a big thank you to you all for being with us up to this moment. I see Enrico, I see Walter, I see Isaac Newton, Martin, Williard, Kevin, Cosmas, Okwiri, Daniel, Joseph, Martin. Thanks all for joining us today for the Rootical Pitching Day. Yeah, and I'd also like to thank our judges for the day. Come on, that's not enough. Actually, now the founders alone, clap. Clap for the judges. Okay, thanks very much. And those in person. Let's clap for those online. Yeah, so before we close, I would like to remind you all to fill out this short survey. The link is going to be shared in the chat, but also you can scan the QR code that is on the screen. And this is to help us improve our future events. So take some time to just fill it. It takes about a minute. And we shall really appreciate your feedback. And with this, we've reached almost the end of today's event. And a big thank you to you all, the amazing founders that have presented today, that have pitched to us. And also, of course, our jury, and all of you that have joined us in person. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and, give us company on this very important day for Rootical, and also to share with us your feedback, which is very, very important. So I would like to take this opportunity to invite Ivan Mandela from Shona, who is going to give the closing remarks for this event. And yeah, before Ivan comes, I'll not forget to thank our partners, of course, Shona and also Fresh Ventures. They have been really a pivotal in our journey. And also, of course, to appreciate our financial partners, the Dune Foundation, the French Embassy in Uganda, the ambassador was here with us, and also BioVision Foundation. Yeah, and thanks all for joining. And it has been a pleasure hosting this event. In my culture, you don't speak after the host. So I think this will be the end of my show, and I'll beg to hand over to the host, that is Shona. Ivan, please welcome. Who also invite us for the cocktail outside.
Thank you, Elvis. My name is Ivan Mandela. I'm a co-founder at Shona, and excited to be here this evening. Nothing excites me as much as listening to entrepreneurs or interacting with them. Because about 12 years ago, I sort of perceived the idea that our problems of then, our problems of today, and the problems of the future are going to be solved by entrepreneurs. And that is the only recourse we have. It's not going to be politicians. It's not going to be governments or NGOs. It's actually going to be businesses that find solutions for the toughest challenges we face today and that we'll face tomorrow. And so this group here that has been pitching today is part of those people that are defining new solutions for the problems we face in the food system. And as we talk of climate change and we talk of population challenges, I think the biggest problem that relates to all of these challenges is actually food. And the question is whether we'll actually have enough food in the future, and even when we have enough, whether it will be the right food. And I think those are the questions that these entrepreneurs were trying to answer today. So I want to thank them on behalf of the jury, on behalf of Shona. I know it's been a long journey, but I congratulate you upon reaching this stage. Whether you proceed or not, you've already achieved so much by getting here. And I know that the future is bright for you. So thank you all for coming. Shona, we are excited being a partner of Rootical. This is what we do for a living, and we're really excited. Our entire team is excited doing it. We are very passionate about it, and we are not about to stop. So thank you. Have a good evening. Enjoy the cocktail. Please make sure you stay back and interact and hopefully form some new relationships today. Thank you and have a good rest of your evening. I've invited you for the cocktail, I guess, right?